Assalamu alaikum. This is brother Dr. Ridgely here at Muhammad Farms. We just put out about 40 something acres of watermelons, cantaloupes. We planted some green beans, some sweet corn, get ready to do eggplants and bell pepper. But we have a little bit of time, and so we're going to today do a couple of videos. The first one is just a thought-provoking video, trying to get some understanding. There's a lot of people on social media and also on YouTube that are putting out all types of information dealing with the Nipsey Hussle death and other things. A lot of information they're putting out, but how do you handle all of that? You know, how do you handle all of the information? What do you do with it? So there's a difference between knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So we're going to deal with that briefly, and then we're going into what's going on in terms of your food and your life and genocide, and why you need to help the Honorable Benedict Louis Farrakhan save your life. Well, let's just start off with this question. Now, ship, boat, or swim? Well, it just depends on what you want to do and what the realities are. Oh, everything is cool. You go to the YMCA or to your house, and you got a swimming pool there, and the children just playing around. Ain't no sharks in there, you know. It's just swimming, having fun. But if you're going to go somewhere, you know, out there on the lake, you want a boat. On the river, you want a boat. But when you're trying to go long distances and carry freight and other things like this and want to weather storms, you need yourself a ship. So many of us think that we can swim. Well, yeah, but you can't get so far, and you ain't going across the ocean. And when there's a storm, you're not going to be able to weather that storm. So this gets us to what we want to talk about. And that is, you know, in Revelations 12:15. Now, first of all, Revelation, this comes from the Bible. And we're not going to go into the history of the Bible and how it was made up. But, you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Revelations was the first book. The book of Revelations was the first book of the Bible, written by Yaqub. It's prophecy, not history. It's prophecy. And in that prophecy, we're talking about a woman, the child, and the dragon is after the woman and the child. So the serpent spewed water out of his mouth like a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. Now, number one, serpents don't spew water. But water is an allegory for words. You know, it says serpent, snake speaks with forked tongue. You know, truth and lies mixed together. Well, this must be a flood of information, not a flood of water, physical water, but of words, of information, to sweep her and the child away by the flood. Now, let's look. There is a difference between knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Now, on the internet, you get a lot of knowledge. Knowledge is the accumulation of facts and data that you have learned about or experienced. It's being aware of something and having information. Knowledge is really about facts and ideas that we acquire through study, research, investigation, observation, or experience. But knowledge is not the same as wisdom. Now we get down to wisdom. Wisdom is the ability to discern and judge which aspects of that knowledge are true, right, lasting, and applicable to your life situation. It's the ability to apply that knowledge to the greater scheme of life. It's also deeper, knowing the meaning of or reason about knowing why something is and what it means to your life. Well, if you're dead, you don't have a life, so you don't have to have no wisdom. You don't have none. You have a bunch of knowledge as a dead walking person, a lot of knowledge, but if you don't have the wisdom because you can't move, you don't have a life. You just sitting there in your room in your mama's house, spewing, going back and forth on the internet, getting a whole bunch of information, and you spewing forth as though you know something. But what are you doing with it? Do you know whether it's true or not? How can you judge whether it's true or not? That's where wisdom comes in. But beyond knowledge, wisdom, it said you must get an understanding. Now, what is an understanding? It's the ability to understand something. And understand means perceive the intended meaning of words, a language or a speaker, or interpret or view something in a particular way. Means that you have to see what is being meant and what that means to you. What is the speaker's intent or the book's intent? What is it trying to get you to do? What is the information being put out? What are they trying to get you to do? What are they leading you to? What are they up to? This is where understanding comes in, because somebody can tell you something and it may be true, but the question is, where are they going with that? And because they tell you something, are they giving you the whole story? Okay, for instance, here you have a tail. Tail here, tail there. Now from that picture, you can't tell where this tail came from, but it's a tail. It's a true tail. It's not a lying tail. It's a truthful tail, but it's just a tail. The question is, what's the head of it? What's the body of it? Where is it going? What's it doing? So you go down to now you remove the cover, and boom, that tail was on a snake. Now that tail is on a lizard. Now for black folks are not scared of lizards, but black folks is scared of snakes. Why? I mean, look at it. Except he got feet. Why does that make a difference? Something about that slithering snake that immediately gets black folks' attention. But if you didn't know just the tail end of it, well, you don't know whether there's a snake or is that a rat on the end of it. You don't know whether that's a lizard with a long tail. You don't know what that is until you see the rest of the story or the rest of the body. Now you got to decide on what you're going to do. Do you need to run? Do you need to get a stick? So again, it's a question of intent in terms of understanding what is this tale all about. You got a lot of tale information that you can recite on the internet, but what is it attached to? And what is the intent of what is attached to, and how is it going to affect you? So, ship, boat, or swim. As long as there ain't no snakes in the water, okay, or crocodiles, you know, and you can swim around in it. But if you know there's something dangerous in that water, you're going to get a boat. Or if you want to catch fish, you got to get a boat. But if you want to make something happen, if you want to be a part of something bigger, and if you want to weather the storm, because when that storm comes up, these people got to go, and the people in these boats got to go, because they be flipped over. All right? But you're safer in a big ship when the storm comes, and then you can fight against the storm to go in your direction. You're not going to be able to fight it with a boat. Whichever way that storm is going, that's where you're going. You ain't going to be able to fight it swimming because you ain't got the strength to do it. But a boat with a powerful motor and a proper balance and floating design, it can weather a storm and continue on its direction. But if you don't have a direction where you're trying to go nothing, if you ain't trying to move no freight, if you ain't trying to build nothing, okay, you just talking, you just swimming around, splashing around in the water, well, you don't need a ship. But we know that we need a ship. That's why we follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We want to build a nation to weather the storm of the fall of America. We don't want to be swept away in a small boat or on our own swimming around individually trying to deal with something as large as the fall of America that can sink everybody in. So we just wanted to bring this to your attention as to there's a lot of people with a lot of information out there. Information. You know, before the Nation of Islam, the temple, was a place to go to get knowledge, to get truth, because they were keeping information from us. They wouldn't let us read for hundreds of years over here in America. And then they gave us this Bible, which is all tricked up and watered down. Stuff was put into it to make us accept being a slave. And then after that, Allah came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad and gave us the understanding of the book and of other histories that we knew nothing about. But what happened is now everybody can go on the internet. You can get the supreme wisdom on the internet. You can get the lessons on the internet. You can get all the books of Honorable Elijah Muhammad on the internet. So, and other people's research that have developed based on the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you can get that as well on the internet. So you feel that you don't need to come into the nation to have information. But the question is, where are you going? What is your plan? What is your program? What are we supposed to do with you and your wisdom, your knowledge? Now you just have knowledge, but you got no place to put it because you're not going nowhere. We're saying we're trying our art, building a nation. We're building an ark to get through the fall of the West, the fall of the white man, the fall of his world. He's going down and want to take us with it. So now we're going to go into another aspect of the teachings when we come back. Assalamu alaikum.